Some people hear the word fatty liver and immediately decide to become very strict. They stop one food, start another food, buy a supplement, skip dinner, or begin drinking something marketed as a cleanse. They expect that if they do at least one healthy thing, the liver should start improving quickly. But then a few weeks pass and something unexpected happens. The body doesn't feel dramatically different. The blood test may not look as good as they hoped. The scan may still mention fat, and that is the moment confusion begins. Then another thought quietly appears. Maybe the problem was never serious, or maybe it is so serious that only a strong medicine, a detox, or some expensive supplement can fix it. And once that assumption enters the mind, people start moving in the wrong direction. They stop looking for what actually works and they start chasing what sounds powerful. And this is exactly where one of the biggest mistakes with fatty liver begins. But don't worry, because in this video, I am going to make this much clearer. I will explain what fatty liver really means, which common mistakes slow recovery, why normal looking tests can still be misleading, and what actually helps the liver heal over time. By the end of this video, you will have a much calmer and clear understanding of what matters, what doesn't, and what you should focus on next. Now, so let's get started. Now, let's understand this scientifically. Fatty liver, which doctors now often place under the newer term NAFLD, simply means excessive fat has built up in the liver. But the biggest mistake is thinking that this is only a fat problem. It is often a metabolism problem, an insulin resistance problem, and in some people, a scarring problem. This is why two people can both have fatty liver, but one has simple fat buildup while another has inflammation or fibrosis developing quietly in the background. It is also why this condition can stay silent for a long time. Many people feel almost nothing, and some can even have liver enzymes that look normal. So, symptoms alone do not tell the full story. Here is where most people get it wrong. They treat fatty liver like a stain that needs to be washed out. So, they look for a detox tea, a juice cleanse, a liver powder, or a natural capsule that promises quick repair. And this is a confusion I see very often. Your liver is already the organ that detoxifies your body. It doesn't need a fashionable cleanse to start doing its job. In fact, liver cleanses are not recommended by hepatology experts because they lack good clinical evidence. They don't reverse damage from overeating or alcohol, and some supplements can even injure the liver. The main treatment is still the boring answer people like to ignore: sustained weight control, better food choices, and regular physical activity. Now, this is something many people do not expect. The dietary mistake is usually not only oily meal, one dessert, or one wedding dinner. The real problem is repeated excess. Too many calories, too many refined carbohydrates, too many sugary drinks, and too much fructose day after day. According to the 2023 AASLD guidance, excessive saturated fat, refined carbohydrates, sugar-sweetened beverages, and especially high fructose intake are strongly linked with fatty liver and even more advanced diseases. So, if someone keeps saying, "I stopped rice," but is still drinking sweet beverages, snacking on processed foods, or eating in a way that keeps weight and blood sugar high, the liver may not move in the right direction. And if alcohol is also in the picture, that can add another layer of injury, especially when fibrosis is present. The next mistake is with exercise. Many people think exercise only counts if it is intense, sweaty, punishing, and traumatic. So they do nothing while waiting for the perfect routine. But the liver doesn't need a performance, it needs consistency. Physical activity helps even without weight loss, and that's very important. It means walking regularly, building a repeatable routine, and becoming less sedentary can start helping before the scale gives you applause. Some people damage their progress by doing 3 extreme days then stopping for 2 weeks. The body responds much better to something sustainable than to short bursts of guilt. So far, we have seen that fatty liver is not random, and this is where the real issue becomes clear. Another major mistake is judging recovery by one symptom or one blood test. Some people say, my bloating is better, so my liver must be fine. A normal enzyme level doesn't always rule out significant disease, and routine imaging can show fat but cannot reliably tell you whether inflammation or fibrosis is present. That's why doctors often look beyond a basic report and may use tools like FIB4 and elastography to estimate scaring risk. Recovery is often not about doing something magical. It is about doing the right things long enough for the biology to change. Losing even about 3 to 5% of body weight can reduce liver fat, while around 7 to 10% may be needed to improve inflammation and fibrosis. That tells you something very powerful. You don't need to become a different person next week. You need to start moving in the right direction and stay there. Many people notice this problem but do not understand the real reason they fail. They keep switching strategies before the liver has had time to respond. Let me also clear one common myth. Some people think, I don't drink much, so alcohol doesn't matter, or a little alcohol is fine because my problem is only fatty liver. That is too casual. When the liver is already stressed, alcohol can act like extra pressure on an organ that is trying to recover. Alcohol intake should be assessed regularly in fatty liver disease, and people with clinically significant fibrosis should abstain completely. So, here is what I recommend. First, if you have been told you have fatty liver, do not stop at the word fat. Ask what your fibrosis risk looks like and whether more assessment is needed. Second, remove the obvious daily drivers, especially sugary drinks, frequent processed snacks, and the habit of rewarding stress with food every evening. Third, build meals you can actually repeat, not those ones you can tolerate for 4 angry days. Fourth, make regular exercise non-negotiable, even if it starts with walking. Fifth, review alcohol honestly and review all supplements honestly, because natural doesn't automatically mean safe. And if you have diabetes, you are pregnant, you take regular medicines, or you already have known liver disease, these decisions should be individualized with your clinician, not copied from the internet. The biggest mistake with fatty liver is not just eating the wrong thing. It is misunderstanding the condition and then choosing shortcuts over consistency. If you understand that clearly, you are already in a much safer and smarter place. If you have learned something new from today's video, please like it, share it with your friends and family, and subscribe to Dr. Max for simple, natural, and science-based ways to stay healthy and live better. Start today.